Here's a look at our lineup on this Friday here on The Now. And video games coming up again in talks about gun violence. But is there a link? Experts are breaking down the impact. And many people turn to diet supplements to lose weight, but they may not all be safe. What you need to know about the weight loss claims that you see in advertisements. And remember these? Turns out they actually never went away. We were talking about Crocs. They're actually now more popular than ever. We'll tell you who is bringing them back.
Well, thank you, Chris. I'm Amanda Starantino, and this is The Now Indy on RTV6. The Indianapolis Department of Public Works wants to add a second shift, meaning more time out fixing the roads of Indianapolis. DPW Director Dan Parker discussed the potential change as he announced the 2020 budget proposal for the agency. DPW employees are locked out from taking time off from November through March, so this could help cut down on overtime costs. Work for DPW has increased in the past 10 years as the mayor's action line has increased in popularity. Most of the requests through the line go to DPW. So here's the breakdown of what the new shift would look like. Currently, there are about 100 employees working Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 3:30 p.m., not including snow shifts during the winter. But DPW wants to increase that number to 160 employees, with 60 of them working until 12:30 a.m. The new shifts would double the amount of coverage DPW could handle in a week. The local union representative for DPW employees said they supported the plan as it would allow more workers to spend time with their families. The full 2020 Indianapolis City-County budget will be voted on in October. And tonight, US 31 at 106th Street in Carmel is back open after a semi overturned in the area. Not only did the semi crash, it started leaking fuel. The Carmel Fire Department says that fuel went into a nearby stormwater drain, so it took hazmat crews hours to clean up the gas. This forced the shutdown of both ramps of US 31 to 116th Street. But again, everything is now open in that area and traffic is moving well. Kyle, a little bit cloudier out today.
Yeah, and the weather not really slowing down the evening commute because we're ready to start off the weekend, aren't we? We've got some clouds out there, but we're really not anticipating much in any shower activity. Our temperature right now, 82 degrees in downtown. It's 80 for you with some sunshine working in there in Kokomo, 84 and mostly cloudy in Bloomington. A little bit of a south breeze, too, between about 10 and 15 miles per hour. Storm Team 6 radar, it's quiet, but you notice we got quite a bit of cloud cover, and this is just going to continue to stream from west to east this evening. So we will have mostly cloudy skies. Your temperature 80 degrees at 7 o'clock. And notice, because we're going to have that blanket of cloud cover around, temperatures are not going to fall a whole lot here. We're still in the middle 70s all the way through 11 o'clock tonight. Mentioned tonight's going to be dry, but look at this. Rain chances are coming back in time for the weekend on Saturday. Even though it's 60%, it doesn't mean it's going to be a washout through the day. I think it's really favoring the first half of our Saturday and a lower rain chance on Sunday. Closer look at that in a few minutes. Chris.
Let's start the news feed with some tense moments in New York this morning. 3 pressure cooker-like devices found in Manhattan. Now, they weren't explosives, but they did force a subway station to be evacuated. Rising tensions between North and South Korea. The North criticizing South Korea's president for holding military exercises with the United States. North Korea has started launching missiles again as these exercises have been going on. Another state is trying to go after opioid companies. South Carolina's Attorney General filing a lawsuit accusing 3 major pharma companies of being responsible for the opioid crisis. The suit claims the companies failed to report massive and suspicious orders and didn't review new customers. As colleges prepare to start again, Uber's expanding its program involving campus safety. Now, Uber's teaming up with the National Crime Prevention Council and Young Minds Inspired. The groups have created a new safety guide. Not only does it cover rideshare safety, it also talks about how to protect yourself on campus. Uber launched a big push for safety after a college student was killed in South Carolina after she got into a car that she thought was her Uber. Well, we have 911 for emergencies, and now we're closer to having an easier number to remember for suicide prevention. The FCC chairman says that he'll start the process of making 988 the 3-digit number for a mental health crisis. Now, right now, the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline uses a 10-digit number. We've told you about it before, 800-273-TALK. The FCC says it is receiving overwhelming support, though, for going to that 3-digit number. Now, it's been studying this since last year, and there is hope that a shorter number will lead to more people getting help.
It could be that life-splitting second that if you just have someone pick up on the other end to be a welcoming voice, I think that's a good opportunity.
Now, callers at crisis centers across the country answered more than 2 million calls made to the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline last year. The federal agency that funds the hotline says it needs an extra $50 million a year, and that would be to handle the increase in calls that it expects would happen if it gets a new 3-digit number. The CDC says suicide rates have been going up across the country over the past 2 decades. The newest numbers showing that more than 47,000 Americans died by suicide in 2017. Now, until the 3-digit number is ready, you can call that number, the 10-digit one you see there at the bottom of your screen, 800-273-TALK at any time of day. All right, let's get back to our lineup. And the home selling process is going online. It helps sellers and buyers not waste any time, but is the convenience worth the cost? We're digging into the numbers.
Compass for $239 a month.
More companies are making immediate offers to buy homes in what's called iBuying. There's a new report saying you do need to think about it. Collateral Analytics found that sellers pay between 13 and 15% of their home's value to sell immediately. So to put that in perspective for you, it would cost about $20,000 more for a $250,000 home. It's a 5 and 7% if you just go the traditional route with a real estate agent. Now, iBuying, obviously more expensive. You see the numbers right there, but experts say it may be worth it.
It's good that they have this option because they may need to sell immediately, or they may worry excessively that they can't sell their home, and so they want that worry relieved.
Now, according to the report, Open Door is the largest iBuyer. Zillow, Keller Williams, and Realology are also in the game with this. So you see all those names right there. Well, you should use the fact that they're all competing to your advantage.
If you do, it's very important to comparison shop among iBuyers. The costs do vary somewhat. Other terms and conditions vary somewhat. So if you do that comparison shopping, you're likely to get the best deal.
A convenience fee is the reason that iSelling costs more. The report says that they include a generous repair allowance, and they also pay a little less than the home's value because they assume the risk of not being able to turn it around and resell it. All right, let's get to the Now newsfeed. Michigan Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib will not visit relatives in the West Bank. Now, Israel did say that she could go visit her 90-year-old grandmother as a humanitarian request. Yesterday, Israel banned Tlaib as well as Rep. Ilhan Omar from taking a trip to Palestinian territories. Well, the family of a man shot and killed inside a Kentucky Kroger last year is now suing the grocery chain. They want Kroger to ban customers from carrying firearms in stores. Kroger says it follows state and local gun laws. Denmark saying that Greenland is not for sale. The Wall Street Journal reporting that President Trump brought up the idea of buying Greenland. Now, it's unclear the president's interest in the territory, but it is home to our military's most northern base. Let's get back to our lineup, and the president is bringing the use of video games into the gun violence debate. Is there really a link here? Experts going to weigh in next.
Only on RTV6 News.
Democrats on the House Judiciary Committee are returning early from their summer recess to discuss gun violence legislation. They'll start to consider a series of bills on September 4th, and they'll also hold a hearing later that month, and it'll be to examine military-style assault weapons. Walmart recently announced that it's making changes after the mass shooting in El Paso. It just removed about 1,000 items being sold by third parties on its website, and it's also removed violent video game displays. Walmart's banning merchandise that it believes glorifies violence. Elizabeth Ruiz taking a closer look at those changes.
I love video games so much, mainly because the imagination behind it.
It's about the moment, the feeling, just having fun. That's really what it is. It's a release.
Honestly, it's kind of hard to figure what my life would be without them now.
Since their creation, video games have become a big part of society. Video game experts George Grayson and Kyle Mosley say it's not only fun, it's an escape from reality if you're having a bad day. They call it interactive entertainment.
You feel like you're actually a part of the experience.
But in the last few days, the two avid video gamers have been defending their passion as the games have come into question with recent mass shootings.
We must stop the glorification of violence in our society. This includes the gruesome and grisly video games that are now commonplace.
In the same week, President Donald Trump partly blamed video games for the mass shootings in America. Walmart issued a memo asking employees to take down video game signage and displays referencing violence. However, they are leaving the games on the shelf as well as guns and ammunition. In the last few weeks, Walmart was the site of the mass shooting in El Paso. In Mississippi, investigators say a former employee shot and killed 2 supervisors at a Walmart. And in Missouri, a man was arrested after police say he walked into a Walmart heavily armed and wearing body armor. So what is considered a violent video game, and is it actually dangerous?
When I think of like a violent video game, I think of something that has like an excess amount of either bloodshed or fisticuff violence.
A lot of huge shooting, a lot of big explosions.
My name is Asim Shah. I'm a psychiatrist. I work for Baylor College of Medicine.
Dr. Shah says the potential relationship between video games and gun violence has been studied for over a decade.
In the past, people used to think that there is a relationship, but the latest studies show that there is no correlation.
While many studies have been done, Dr. Shah says there's still a need for more in-depth research since people play video games for different lengths of time, and video games could have a larger impact on people with a pre-existing condition.
If somebody especially is paranoid, if somebody especially is delusional or hearing voices, they may be the population who may need to avoid certain games, certainly, because they already have some element of underlying disorder.
Walmart didn't respond to our request for a statement about why the company pulled the video game signage, but continues to sell the games as well as firearms.
If anything, video games are actually helpful in that, because now whatever those aggressions that you have, you can take it out on a fictional character in a game.
I just would like to see to the point where people see video games as a form of entertainment, not as a triggering mechanism for a violent act.
I'm Elizabeth Ruiz reporting.
Hiring Hoosiers is an RTV6 effort to connect you to a job or the education to get you the career you want. And to help Latino students be successful in and out of the classroom, the Indiana Latino Institute has free programs to help. They provide coaches and workshops that guide students through the financial aid process. They provide scholarship opportunities and build leadership skills. The Indiana Latino Institute also works with local businesses to connect students with internship opportunities to gain real work experience. We're building a strong resume. Now, using the resources at the Indiana Latino Institute, Alex Santana says they connected him to his internship at Eli Lilly. He says this program has not only helped him stand out academically, but also made him more confident.
They have been helping me not only to make sure that I have a successful resume, but to also to keep developing my leadership skills, my professional skills, to be prepared for the real world and to be able to influence other Latinos.
The Indiana Latino Institute has free programs for both high school and college students. We have more info on what they have to offer you through this story on the RTV6 app and the IndyChannel.com. Indiana University has set the reopening date for its art museum, which has a new name and a new look. The Eskenazi Museum of Art at IU, as it's now known, will open November 7th. The museum shut down in 2017 for a $30 million renovation with a goal of making it more engaging for visitors. Sidney and Louis Eskenazi, the Indianapolis-based philanthropist, contributed $15 million toward the project. That's the largest cash gift in the museum's history, according to Indiana University. The original museum opened in 1941, followed by the current building in 1982. IU says the museum features one of the most significant art collections in the United States.
And let's look outside right now in a pretty nice work of art as we look over the city of Indianapolis. Circle City looking pretty good there as we're getting in a little bit of sunshine with that cloud cover that we've had for much of the day. Right now, our temperature 82 in downtown. That comes with a little bit of humidity at 58% and a south breeze between 10 and 15 miles per hour. Our temperature is a little warmer in Bedford. You're close to that 90-degree mark. Rest of us in the lower 80s, even 78 right now in Crawfordsville. It's 81 for you in Tipton, and tonight clouds and temperatures that'll be in the upper 60s, so it will be a little warmer, a little more of a muggy night for us as we go into the weekend. And speaking of that, let's take you to TrueCast. This is 8:30 tomorrow morning. We have cloud cover, but you also notice some scattered showers and thunderstorms getting a little bit closer here. I think as we go through the first half of our Saturday especially, we're going to have fairly widespread rain. Some of those downpours could be locally heavy, and I think that'll be the biggest issue outside of a couple of flashes of lightning here with a few of those storms, but not anticipating severe weather. By 4:30 tomorrow afternoon, actually clearing out the skies just a little bit here, and about a 20 to 30% chance of an additional shower or thunderstorm. Temperature-wise, we'll go from the 70s eventually into the lower and middle 80s for that afternoon high. 85 degrees in Greenwood and 83 in Noblesville, which is right about where we should be for this time of year. Next few days of your forecast, 30% chance for a shower or storm on Sunday. So lower rain chances means it's going to be hotter. High temperatures right around 90 degrees, and we're going to stay there Monday and Tuesday, even 92 degrees on Monday afternoon. A lot of humidity in the air as well, so we'll have heat index values into the middle 90s. Chris?
The weight loss market is flooded with diets, supplements, different exercises, and the FTC is trying to stop false claims in that industry. Now, it launched the site ftc.gov/weight loss. It first focused on bogus diet pills. We talked to the head of the National Center for Weight and Wellness about what can be done to stop this false advertising.
What most people tend to think about in terms of addressing obesity, losing weight, is all the stuff that's advertised to us online and on TV commercials and such, which is like dietary supplements and various diets and such. And there's little or no evidence that those things actually work, and in some cases they may be dangerous.
There are 9 FDA-approved drugs and other research-proven methods to help treat obesity. The problem is insurance may not cover them. New government data shows 38% of adults are obese, but only about 1% used an obesity drug, and the majority had to pay out of pocket.
Imagine if only 1% of people with cancer got medical treatment for it, or 1% of people with diabetes got a diabetes medication for it. We would be up in arms, but that's exactly the situation with obesity.
Medicare does cover weight management counseling. All right, let's turn to the news feed. A Pennsylvania couple facing charges after police say that they faked a pregnancy and the death of their newborn child. They received hundreds of dollars through a GoFundMe page, and police say pictures of the child were actually a doll. Mickey's living large these days. Disney's Toy Story 4 passing the $1 billion mark. And that's the 4th Disney movie to bring in more than $1 billion just this year, which is a Hollywood record for a studio. If you fly Southwest, say aloha to Hawaii, because the airline is going to increase the number of flights to Hawaii next year. Now, tickets could cost as low as $99. Southwest will fly direct from California to Kauai, as well as the Big Island. For the teenage generation, many get their information from YouTube. Now, according to the group Common Sense Media, more than half of teens who consume news get it from YouTube and other social media. Now, part of that really has to do with the fact that teens are preferring visual media rather than text. But experts say that really could be dangerous because YouTube can often queue up and play videos automatically, which leads teens to watching videos by influencers or celebrities instead of the news.
It's not always easy to tell with online personality what kinds of standards or ethics they may have, how objective their sources are, whether they're attributing things. And so we need to help get teens into the habit of asking certain kinds of questions to better evaluate the news.
Less than half of teens get their news from print and digital news organizations, and just 37% watch TV news, which obviously we would like to see a higher number there. Now, it wasn't all just bad news, though. Common Sense Media says when they polled teens on who usually gets the facts straight, most of them are likely to mention news organizations instead of celebrities or influencers. All right, next on our lineup, you remember these? Well, let's tell you something. Turns out they actually never went away, because we are talking about Crocs. Believe it or not, more popular now than ever before, and we're going to tell you who is exactly bringing them back.